I'd like to thank the gentleman from Florida. He has definitely been a leader on this issue. And I've got to tell you, I too am happy the Intelligence Committee has agreed to release the memo. When I was back home in Texas last week, it was the #1 issue people were talking to me about. And I want to take a minute and step back and do a little bit of a history lesson. The Fourth Amendment to our Constitution arose from some of the abusive practices that were going on in the colonies. The King of England would send his troops to rifle through people's effects without a warrant. And our Fourth Amendment said, we're not going to let that happen in these new United States of America. We're going to require the government to get a warrant before they go through people's papers. And we're protected from illegal searches. And I've been worried since the first day I got here in Congress that in our effort to protect ourselves, and perhaps out of fear, some of it perhaps warranted, we're eroding those rights. So as this memo comes out, regardless of what's in it, we need to be looking at the process, how we went to a secret court to get permission to get this information, how that information was gathered, what that information was, who vetted it, how thoroughly it was vetted, and how the judges reacted, and eventually what came out, and determine whether we need to reform that process to protect Americans' right. Yes, we all have a right to know what is going on with our government. Yes, I'm worried about career bureaucrats or elected officials abusing the power of the government to get information on their political enemies, like the king was doing back in the days of the Revolutionary War. So this is our opportunity to make sure that that doesn't happen in these United States. Let's not lose sight of what the issue is here, and that is protecting the American people, not only from foreigners who look to do us harm, but also from an oppressive government who abuses their power to spy on American citizens. So I'm glad this memo is going to come out. I urge President Trump to promptly release it. And in fact, to go beyond that, look at some of the sources of the material in that. Determine that we can reveal some of those sources without jeopardizing our ability to gather intelligence, and release the source materials so we know what people knew when they made the decision to pursue the material covered in this memo. I think this is a great time for this country. I think this is our opportunity to remind ourselves that we do have a right to be safe and secure in our persons and papers from a government that may be trying to do more than protect us. You know, maybe some of these folks in the government have shifted from, well, we need to protect America, to, well, the best way to protect America is to protect ourselves and our job and our political agenda. That's not what the job of our law enforcement and intelligence community is. It's to protect us from those who want to do us harm, especially foreigners. And I want to give them the power to do that and the ability to do that, but I do not want to give them the ability to affect elections, to go after their political enemies, to spy on any one of us, because they can. That if we give the government too much power, there are those who will abuse it. So we in Congress have got to keep our eye on the ball at all times and protect the constitutional rights that our forefathers and our founding fathers gave us, and that our men and women in uniform fight for every day that they're in service to this country. With that, sir, I yield back.